Well, good Monday morning to you, and welcome to our live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox.
Hello.
Doctors Nutrition, located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. Our phone lines are 896-0713, 800-349-0713. If you have a question regarding today's subject or any other question you've been holding on to, please call us. We can have you ask them directly, or Stephanie is on the phone lines and she'll be glad to take your question down for you. Subject today, millions of Americans deal with this in some way, shape, or form. Because, I mean, if you have chronic bronchitis, if you have emphysema, you have basically breathing problems.
Right, or asthma, or allergies,
right.
Or, you know, there's all that stuff actually creates a lot of problems.
COPD, which is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And I said, you see the commercials on TV all the time with the elephant sitting on somebody, and
that's basically the way they feel.
They can't breathe. It worsens over a period of time. Cigarettes, if you're a smoker, that can cause a lot of it. If you are exposed to a lot of lung irritants, you know, where you work.
Right, a lot of workers.
Like that. Chemical fumes.
Chemical fumes, whether it be welders, people that, a lot of metals inhaled. You know, and they knew for years asbestos. I mean, you know, everybody heard of that.
Right.
And of course now there's not using it as much, but it's still, there's a lot of people out there that has problem that did breathe it. You
know, when you watch things, you know, if you've been around like a construction site or something, you see these guys cutting cement and the dust just going everywhere, and they don't have a respirator on. It's like, oh Lord, put a respirator on. You know, it's something so simple to do, you know, just to keep down that dust. But you see these guys, and all you can see is their eyes, you know, after they had this dust cloud, you know, and you think, good Lord, what's that doing to their lungs? Now it may not then, but give it a few years of doing that, or years and years of doing that. Yeah.
Over a period of time. I mean, it basically, you know, the airflow in and out of your lungs, it just gets you know, less and less, to where, you know, you just like, you know, it's an effort to walk from the living room to the kitchen.
Yeah, and it can't feel good to actually not be able to breathe. So it's one thing that people that have breathing problems, it's a big problem. A lot of people don't think about it if they can breathe easy. They don't think about how bad it is when you can't. But we do see a lot of people that come in because they are having trouble breathing.
So, you know, one of the things that, again, that you know, makes it harder for you if you smoke.
Smoking is just
like the number one
thing.
That
is the one thing. If we have to stress something today is stop smoking. And try not to be around a lot of secondhand smoke. They've actually found that secondhand smoke can be just as bad as firsthand smoke.
And what about these
vapor things?
Thank you.
Yes.
I think you're going to find they're going to have some problems too.
You're breathing in, again, it's chemicals that you're breathing in, so, you know, who knows, you know, it may be years down the road before we find out, oh, you know, oh, by the way, we shouldn't have been doing that. But, you know, anytime you're breathing in that kind of chemical, you know, just repetitively, and you watch these people that do it, I mean, they're doing quite a bit of it. So, you know, it may not be quite as bad as smoking a real cigarette, but...
Well, because I think cigarettes have something like 300 added chemicals to them. People don't realize how much chemicals are in those cigarettes. The old-timey cigarettes were probably better, not that they were any good for you, but I'm just saying they're better.
Well, the old-timey cigarettes, years and years and years ago, you see these plantations. I mean, a lot of them were up in Virginia and North Carolina, places like that, where they took the tobacco leaves and they laid them out to dry. They weren't out there with crop dusters and planes and spraying them with all kinds of chemicals, because they didn't have that then.
Right.
But nowadays, you know, you see them do that, and it's, as you said, you're getting all that, you know, into your lungs.
You're breathing it in.
And there was an interesting study I just saw that talked about nitrites in food. And nitrites are in all your processed meats. When you start looking, it's going to be your sausage and bacon and sandwich meat and bologna and things like that that are processed. They all have nitrites, unless they say nitrite free.
Oh, I just heard a rumble in the force. A lot of people say, bacon, no, not bacon.
Well, if it's nitrite free, then it's probably okay.
But will it say on the package?
Yeah,
it will say on there.
If it is free, right.
Now, if it doesn't say nitrite free, it's not.
Okay.
Now, they showed in this study that it was as bad for the lungs as smoking. I thought that was like, okay, that's things that a lot of people do. They don't realize it. So what you eat also makes a difference in lung function.
Bad deal.
And we did want to even mention, I had someone that came in like last week, and they were telling me their mother had severe COPD. And, you know, she was in the hospital, and they were pretty much saying she was going to die. They said there was really no hope, and that, you know, and so they had tried everything, and so a last-ditch effort was for her to change her diet. And she went on a grain-free diet, which we stress a lot, got better.
Really?
So they've well, grains are inflammatory, and they know, of course, anything to do with the lungs and breathing problems have a lot of inflammation. So if you can get rid of the inflammation, you can help a lot. So there are diet changes that you can do if you have one of these lung problems, and there's things that you can do, change your diet now to prevent these lung problems.
Okay, caller from Mobile asked if exposure to aluminum can cause problems.
Oh, big controversy
Definitely.
there.
Yeah, there
Really?
is.
Yeah. There's a lot of research that shows it can. There's no doubt. And then, of course, there's you know, the other side of the fence saying, oh, no, it doesn't cause any particular problems. But there's quite a bit of research going back years and years and years that aluminum displaces a lot of your other nutrients. And that's what happens is it gets in there, it gets into the cells, it displaces some of the beneficial nutrients that you should have. And of course, the chemical process stops. Now, when that happens, and our body's just a big chemical factory. I mean, it's just constantly making chemicals, good ones. But you know, that happens, and when you get aluminum in there, yes, it can, and it can soak through the skin. That's why we always recommend doing, you know, the deodorants that don't have the aluminum in it, rather than the antiperspirants, which do
And
have.
also, for years, there's been the research that showed aluminum could contribute to dementia.
And that's been a big area of controversy.
Years ago,
yes.
because when I met you, I mean, that's been 20-something years ago. We've been together a long time.
A long time ago.
He will not eat anything cooked in an aluminum pan. So he's been like that for 20-something years.
How about a cast iron skillet?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay,
As long as you don't have an iron problem.
Yeah, if you got an iron
Now, if you
overload,
have
it'd be a
too much
different deal.
iron, you don't want an iron skillet.
Really?
Oh,
Right.
no. You know,
But you got to know if you got an iron.
we just said in a couple of weeks we're going to have a program, and one of the things we're going to talk about is iron overload. 7% of all men have too much iron. So a lot of men do not need to be eaten out of an iron skillet.
But nobody needs to be dealing with aluminum.
Yes.
And you know, that's one of the bad things about it. And that's one of the reasons I have, like, with the restaurants. They all use very big containers, and they're all aluminum. And you know, I just like, golly.
Now, some people's jobs, and it's probably whoever's calling and asking, my guess would probably be they have a job that they deal with aluminum. Wear the protective clothing, the gloves, the respirators. It tells you that when you start reading. I mean, a lot of the things that tell you to do that, none of them do it. Do it. That actually protects you. There's a reason why they actually say that. So do it.
Okay. All right, our phone lines are 896-0713, 800-349-0713. When we come back, we've got a question on the line, a good question about e-cigs, so stick around. Stick around. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy with Drs. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition. They're located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, south of Pass Road. They are open 6 days a week from, Monday through Friday from 10 to 5, Saturdays 11 to 2, and the doctors are there Monday through Thursday. You never have to have an appointment, and consultation is absolutely free. So we're talking about chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, breathing issues, things that cause them. Chris from Latimer asked if using e-cigs is better than smoking.
No, what you're doing is you're still taking in man-made chemicals, and you know, again, we don't know. The research is starting to come out showing that this is not really good for us, because again, these are man-made chemicals that we don't know all of the far-reaching effects yet. But it's coming out. It's starting to come out.
And we also stress prevention. And to me, the best prevention is not to smoke or use the e-cigs.
Right.
I wonder, I'm not a smoker, so I don't know. But
me neither.
Are they, people are always trying to find a way to quit smoking. Are they, I don't know, would they be a safe step to start getting off of nicotine? I mean, because I know you can reduce the amount of nicotine in them over a period of time.
But you know what I've seen is most of these people, and I've watched a bunch of them over the past few years. They'll switch to the e-cigs. Okay, they do that pretty strong for a while. Next thing you know, they're smoking again.
Or they're even smoking more with the e-cigs because they think it's okay. And
so they get more of it.
You do see, I mean, it may have been a good alternative if you use it to stop smoking and truly start decreasing and stop. You know,
Right.
if that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
case,
If
but
that's
that's
the
not
ultimate goal, right.
what I see in a lot of people.
No.
But just to, in place of cigarettes, no.
Yeah, no.
A matter of fact, I did a shoot earlier this year with a cancer doctor with Singing River Health System. And I asked him that question, you know, are they a safe alternative? He flat out said no.
Yeah.
No.
I
The
agree.
research is just now coming out, or starting to come out, and you know, over the next few years, I think you're going to see, because they're doing a lot of research now in these various institutions around the country and around the world, and I think you're going to see a lot of really negative things come out about it. I really do.
Okay, we're talking about COPD, breathing issues, what causes them, what you can do to, if you have breathing problems. We're talking about chronic bronchitis, which bronchitis is basically your airways that carry the lungs, carry air to the lungs. They get inflamed, making a lot of mucus. Okay, they can. I used to have a lot of that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times people with chronic bronchitis have immune problems,
A
immune
lot of them do.
deficiencies. A lot of them are chronic smokers. So chronic smoking does it. Now, there's a few other tips on diet, because we talked about diet a few minutes ago. If you have any of these lung problems and you have a lot of mucus, the one thing you need to stop is dairy. Dairy is very mucus producing.
Right.
And so if you actually eat a food that increases mucus production, you're going to actually have a worse problem. So that's not just milk, it's also cheese.
Cheese, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people say, oh, I can do the milk, but I can't do the cheese. But if you have a hard time breathing, it might be worth stopping.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, stopping the grains, stopping the dairy. There are things that you can do. And also prevention to keep from having these problems to begin with. Now, there's a lot of research coming out on vitamin D, like always,
Huge.
vitamin D,
Right.
and
Huge.
lung problems. And the lower people's vitamin D level is, the worse their problem when they have COPD. And so it's something that also can be done easily is check your vitamin D levels. The one lung problem I have not seen where vitamin D is beneficial, because it can actually be harmful, is sarcoidosis. And that is a lung problem.
It is.
And actually D can make it worse. I just wanted to say it doesn't blanketly cover every lung problem. Because sarcoidosis has some pretty good research where D can actually make it worse.
And one of the things to keep in mind is you cannot undo the damage that's already done to your lungs.
And typically, no.
No.
It depends on how much damage
you
is
can
done,
take
right.
steps to prevent more
Right.
damage.
You can get down the inflammation.
Exactly, and to help yourself feel better.
And you can change that mucus production. You can
change the
enhance
mucus.
that immune system.
Right.
You can do a lot of things that'll really help. And you know, there's even some natural nutrients that we use. One being the N-acetylcysteine.
Tons of research.
Huge. It's N-acetylcysteine or NAC.
NAC is something we use in anyone,
lot,
whether
yeah.
it be from allergies, whether it be from COPD, whether, emphysema, whether it's bronchitis. NAC works a couple different ways.
It does.
It has your antioxidant effect, it's an anti-inflammatory, and it breaks up mucus. So it has all
it.
those, it thins it. And there was even a study done, it wasn't too long ago, that showed that if people that were admitted into the hospital with complications of COPD, so this was people that were bad enough to be hospitalized, they put a big group of them on NAC and another group did not take NAC, and then they followed them for 9 months. Of the group that took NAC, they had 85% less hospitalizations after that.
Wow.
It's huge. I mean,
pretty
NAC is known to help with this, and it's very inexpensive.
Oh,
NAC is not expensive.
Extremely inexpensive, yeah.
I want to say NAC.
Probably
and
less expensive than a pack of cigarettes.
Well, in the end, by the month,
In the
yes.
end, Well,
by the month.
By the month,
yeah.
a lot less expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say, I might be off a little bit because I can't remember every price on everything we have in the store, but I want to say it's
$14, $15.
$14, $15
For a
a bottle.
And that's for like a month's supply?
Yeah.
Pretty close, yeah.
And we actually have it
That's
on
like
sale.
that's like a day or two in a pack of cigarettes.
Exactly.
Probably. I haven't priced cigarettes in a long time.
Well,
but
I haven't either, but I think there's somewhere. I mean, you see advertisements at places at like $5 a pack.
And that's probably
So
the cheapest,
NAC
yeah.
is something very inexpensive, and if you have a lung problem, it is something that is very essential to do. Another thing that we use along with the NAC a lot is DMG, dimethylglycine. That's another one that's kind of not known as much. But dimethylglycine is in every living cell of every living thing, but it increases oxygen carrying capability. And I have many people that call it their breathing pills when they come in. I need my breathing pills.
The air that we get in the lung, the thing is we have to exchange the oxygen onto the hemoglobin and get rid of the CO2 or the carbon dioxide. And what the DMG does is helps that hemoglobin bind more oxygen. So the more, when you breathe in the same air, you're getting more oxygen off of it. And so they actually can breathe better because you've got more oxygen you get, better you feel.
And at the same time, it increases the immune system. So you're going to help
Which is
the
very
immune
important in that
system and
thing,
keep
too.
down infections, like people with chronic respiratory infections, which is another thing we probably should talk about. But DMG also boosts the immune system. So it's just one thing that we really do see real big difference when we're using NAC with DMG.
Okay. A 50-year-old man with Alzheimer's says his legs are hurting him. His family needs help diagnosing his condition.
With legs hurting, it can be a few different things.
It can be several things,
You'd have to look at things that affect circulation, iron deficiency, which can happen in elderly men because you don't see it in men until they get older. But it's always something you want to check. You don't want to just take it.
Don't want to assume.
Those are the two things I'd probably say to check first. Would be circulation and iron levels,
Right.
and maybe even B12 and folic acid.
Yeah, those are always big.
And of course, one good way to do that is to get some blood work done.
Right.
And they have some
Exactly.
different blood panels that they do there at the store. We've mentioned it so many times there on Cowan Road, just south of Pass Road. Brooke is real good about taking your blood panel there.
Yep.
She's a good nurse.
And you don't need an appointment, and consultation is always free. So we'll be back in just a moment and wrap up this morning's conversation about chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. We'll have this week's special for you as well, but you still have time to call us, 896-0713. All right. And welcome back to our final segment, Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy. That's our Monday morning live edition. And it will be rebroadcast again on Friday at this same time here on WLOX CBS. We're talking about breathing issues, COPD, pulmonary diseases, emphysema. One of the other things that causes breathing issues, obesity.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I mean, it does. I mean, if you're having a hard time breathing and you have a weight issue, that's going to contribute a lot to it.
In sleep apnea, which a lot of people have, definitely affects breathing, and everyone knows that. And the more obese you are, the more likely you are to have sleep apnea, because weight loss is one of the treatments for sleep apnea. So it is something that if you're overweight and you can't breathe, that's another thing that you can do. If you change your diet like we talked about and get off of grains and dairy, right there you'll probably lose weight.
And again, if there's you have a sheet right there, if you go by the low glycemic, low glycemic diet. And you eat good. I mean, I've been on that. Well. You eat real well on that.
Well, it's all real food too. You know, it's not anything packaged and processed, so we're staying away from the nitrites.
And good. We talked about the nitrites, and you want to get away from that packaged food.
You want to get away from it. So.
You'd be surprised how creative you can get with chicken breasts.
And you don't have
any meat.
You don't have to eat just chicken breast.
No. There's a lot of great items on there that are available. Vegetables are always good, and we talk all the time about get fresh vegetables, and it's always a good thing.
Fresher is better, right?
Billy in Bay St. Louis asks, is the climate in South Mississippi good or bad for people with breathing conditions?
I'd have to say bad.
Well, the humidity does make it harder. Drier air might be a little bit easier, although sometimes dry air can make some things worse. Probably more of our allergens in this area is what's
I was going
bad.
to say more allergen stuff, and too, with the high humidity that we have a little bit more of the yeast issues and fungus issues. And of course, that mold spores and so on makes it a little tougher on some people. If you've got a problem to begin with,
right. And you get different people. You'll have some people that say go into a different climate, they breathe so much easier, and some people say they breathe easier here. So it probably depends on the person, depends on their allergies, depends on what they have,
a lot of allergies
to.
involved.
And allergies is another big thing for breathing. Allergies and asthma. And we do have things that actually help that too. Your rabidogalactin can boost the immune system and help with allergies. We have something called Aller 7 Plus, and then we even have Allergena, which can desensitize you to some of the allergens in our area, which right now ragweed is starting to be in full bloom.
Yeah, it's blooming.
And that causes a lot of problems when it does.
All that yellow stuff that you see on your cars and your vehicles.
Like we talked about, keeping your vitamin D levels up. And even the omega-3 fatty acids, they've actually shown that people that do more fish oil and eat more fish have less lung problems because of the anti-inflammatory effect of it.
But when we talk about more fish, that doesn't necessarily mean shrimp.
No,
because
not necessarily. There's we're talking the fatty fish, like your cod and your
salmon.
Salmon's really good for you.
Salmon's really good. Those are the better fish to eat. Sardines, for instance.
You want the oilier fish.
Oilier fish. They have the omega-3s.
And you don't want to destroy the oil with frying it either.
No.
Yeah, always bake it. I mean, and if you get, and we've talked about this so many times too, is when you, especially with salmon, you want to get the good North Atlantic salmon.
You don't
want
want
to
wild
get
caught.
wild
Right.
caught. You don't want to get the farm raised stuff.
No.
Anything like that. Tilapia, which is I mean,
All
the way
farm raised.
all
It's all
farm
farm
raised, and the
raised,
way they
yeah.
raise those in those
And not
ponds.
real high
oh.
in the omega-3 fatty acids either.
No,
so it's not
there's
just that it's farm
virtually no
raised; it don't
fatty
have a lot of
acids
the
to 'em
fatty
there.
acids either.
No,
So-
that's kind of the thing that we, when you start looking at diet, those are the kind of choices that we need to make daily, and another study that we were looking at some time back about the COPD and those kind of things. Everybody that's diagnosed with the breathing issues in COPD, if they all of their nutritional status is very low, D,
Yeah.
B12, and so on and so forth. And if you think about it, most of these people are on quite a few drugs. And we had a show, a week or so ago, about the effects of some of these drugs and medications, what they deplete. So you
yeah.
take somebody that's
How they
got a
deplete the
breathing
nutrients
problem.
in your body.
Okay.
Yeah, and boom,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Penny from Biloxi is on the phone with us. Good morning, Penny.
Good morning.
Morning.
What can we do for you, Penny?
I was just wondering, I have bronchitis really bad, and I was wondering what would be the best inhaler to use.
None. I mean, if you got it, if it's a real strict breathing problem, yeah, you got to use it temporarily. But those things long term actually cause problems. You want to find out what's wrong. If
Okay.
it's if it's an underlying viral infection or a fungal infection or something like that that's causing it,
Or if you're a smoker,
or if you're a smoker,
stop smoking.
There's so many things that go into that, Penny. But long-term use of those inhalers is going to cause you a long-term problem. And that's research shows
Do
that.
you smoke?
No.
Okay, good, because I was going to say it's real hard to get rid of chronic bronchitis while you're still smoking. You have to look deeper and check your vitamin D status and check those nutrients and see if there's something that's actually increasing your inflammation. But you want to do things like the NAC and DMG that we talked about because that increases the immune system. Most chronic bronchitis is also some sort of an immune problem too.
Yeah, the probiotics, for instance, are a huge thing
Oh, yeah.
for that too. So.
There's a lot of things. What you want to do is prevent. You don't want to just inhalers don't get rid of the problem, don't get to the underlying cause. Now, if you can't breathe, you have to use
You have
them.
to.
We're not
But-
saying that.
But
Right,
they show
right.
that long-term use actually causes long-term problems. So
Yes.
that's the more you use it, the more problems you're going to
Well,
have.
and after
down
a
the
while,
road.
your body becomes immune to certain things like that. I mean,
Right, it
that's-
takes more and more and more.
Exactly.
And then if you've overused antibiotics and so on, it just causes all kind of problems too.
Katie is on the phone. Has a question about having a problem walking. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning. You had said the last week on the phone that what might cause a person not to be able to walk all of a sudden. They've been walking all the time, and then all of a sudden they can walk.
Yeah.
I want to know what that could be.
Well, we mentioned last week, and we only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to be quick on this, and you can call us at the store, and we'll get more detailed into your problem. But a lot of times, if you're taking medications that deplete CoQ10, can definitely affect the legs and walking. So
Okay.
give us a call, and we'll talk to you more off the air.
And yeah, now
So
we'll get
today's
just a
special-
second or two.
Yep.
The special for this week. We've got a Chiron, I think, ready for that. So yeah, here we go. The NAC and the DMG. I mean, the two big things for breathing. Both of them are going to be on sale this week.
And DMG can be taken by any age. We can give it to a day-old baby.
A day-old
It's
baby.
that
Really?
safe. It's that safe. The only people that cannot take DMG is someone that's on anti-rejection drugs because it does increase the immune system. So that's the only people that can't take DMG.
Okay,
All right.
and that special is on through this weekend or
Exactly.
through Saturday.
Yep.
And 25% off.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you can pick that up again at Doctor's Nutrition, located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We have decided that the first Monday of every month, which will be next Monday,
Yeah.
we're going to do our open line day.
Right.
Exactly.
So basically, any questions you have about any topic regarding your health,
Right.
how to improve your health, please feel free to call in. If you want to email it, you can send it in to me at jtabor@wlox.com. But we will be back again on Monday morning, next Monday morning for our live edition. This show will be rebroadcast this coming Friday at 9 o'clock here on WLOX CBS. But Open Line Monday will be next Monday.
That's right.
So it'll be a lot of fun. Again, Doctor's Nutrition located over on Cowan Road, just south of Pass Road. The doctors will be there from 10 to 5 today. If you have any questions, be glad